Hello there, Joan Turner here with jonesartgallery.com and intuitivebodyandsoul.com, and we have been doing a special kind of 5-part series with some mandala painting, and today I thought we would do a paint a rock. My students saying to me, you know, rock painting, so popular now. Can you teach us how to paint and draw on rocks? And I'm like, gee willikers, I don't know. So I started to paint on rocks. And so we're going to do a tutorial today on how to paint this rock. Okay, so you definitely will need this handout. And I have done this particular rock before. So here's the kind of finished product. And I'm not sure about the lighting here. It's evening, and maybe you're getting some glare. I don't know. But this, okay, hopefully you can see it better, is the finished piece. And on the back, it's just plain rock. It does have a shiny sealer over it. Okay, so we can do all that. So, of course, you need to have a rock, all right? Now, your rock, the smoother ones are a little bit easier to paint on, but you can actually paint on any rock. So this rock has had a bath. We've washed it and dried it, so make sure your rock is dry and clean, right? So you need a rock to paint on. You will also need a palette, which in this case is going to be a paper plate. All right, if you have a palette, that's absolutely cool. You can use palette paper, you can use a regular palette, okay, whatever your heart desires, you may use. We will need paint, green paint, yellow paint. We're going to use violet paint, but if you do not have purple, you're going to need blue and red to make purple. And let me see, we need white. Okay, the very first thing we're going to do is paint our rock, so we need some brushes. Okay, brushes. Now, you'll probably have at least one big flat brush, which we're going to use to actually paint our rock, and then some round kind of headed brushes to do some of this cool work going on in here. And then we might even use a few Q-tips. This is my Q-tip container. Okay, so some fuzzy kind of Q-tips. We could use a couple of those. Maybe I'm going to take a couple out because we probably won't use much more than that. So you're going to need a water container. Okay, so a bowl of water, something you're not going to mistake for your drink and then try and drink it. So make sure it does not look like a glass, a cup, or a mug. All right, so a water container. Let me see. Paper towels, water container, brushes. I think we're good to go. Are you ready? Yes, you are ready. Okay, first thing first, we are going to paint our rock. So your darkest green, sorry. Darkest green will work wonders. If you don't have a darkest green, you can take green, add a little bit of black to it. You can add a little bit of green to it. You can get a darkest green as your heart desires. Okay, so I am going to move the camera down onto the surface where I'm making my rock so you can see what I am doing. Okay, all right, so I'll see you later. Okay. Let's see here. This is my palette. This is my rock. I think if I sit here, you will have a good view of the rock, I'm hoping. Okay, so here's my rock. Scusa. Here is my rock. Let's get a little closer. Maybe more rock, less Joan. There we go. Let's see. Oh, no, down this way. All right. Okay. Can you tell that there's a real amateurish thing going on here? Okay, so first things first, let us paint our rock. So here's my rock right here, and maybe I'll put it right here so you can see it even better. I have two greens here, and I'm actually, one is a little bit lighter than the other. This is a viridian hue, and it looks a little bit bluish on my screen, but in real life it looks kind of dark green. Okay, and this one looks a little bit more green. This is actually a hooker's green, and this is actually a viridian hue green. Okay, so like I say, either one would be okay, and if they're not quite dark enough for you, because if we kind of have a dark background, then our other stuff really shows up really good. Okay, so I'm going to take, let me see, my palettes here. Okay, let me take a little bit of this one and a little bit of the other one. When in doubt, use them all, right? That's what I say. And make sure you have your paint clothes on. I don't know if I mentioned this in some of my other videos. Make sure you have your paint clothes on. If you're working on tables, make sure that you cover them. This is my art table, and as you can see, it has almost as much paint on it as the artwork does. So, so if you're working on a good table or a good surface, make sure you cover it. You know, a plastic tablecloth from the dollar store will do the trick. And make sure your clothes, you have art clothes. These are my art clothes. And you can see they have lots of paint and stuff on them. And even if you bleach them, the acrylic paint, once it dries, is not coming out. So you definitely need art clothes. All right, so we have our rock. And like I said, I mixed two greens here. Okay, so if your green is not dark enough, you can put a bit of brown in it or a bit of black in it. Okay, and see this color green that I'm getting? That is kind of a cool, awesome green. So I am going to, sometimes I just do one side of the stone or the rock, but I'm thinking that I like them better when they're done all the way around. Okay, and that doesn't mean that the design has to go all the way around, but it means that it should have some color on it all the way around. So if you do one side, let this side dry, and then when it's dry, take and do the other side. Okay, and know which side that you're actually going to paint your design on. Okay, because this is the flatter side over here, I'm thinking that I would paint my design on this side over here. Okay, so let it dry really, really good, and then put your brushes in water. Okay, make sure you take care of your art supplies. By that I mean, you know, don't let them sit around. Don't let your brushes sit around and the paint dry inside the brushes, because once they dry inside the brushes, then the brushes aren't any good anymore. Okay, once the acrylic dries in them, they are done for. So the best way to clean your brushes is to actually, you know, keep them in water when you're not using them, but as soon as you're done with the project, go and wash them in soap and warm water, okay? So we're going to let that rock dry, and we may even get a second coat on there, right? This is a rock that I've already prepared, and trying to decide now which side do I want to paint on, okay? This side actually stands up pretty cool. Right? Now, most people, whether you're keeping your design for yourself or for someone else, I always thought, you know, when people bought rocks or they made them, you know, that they were going to put them in rock gardens or fairy gardens. But what I found is that the people that are buying these rocks are actually displaying them, like on acrylic stands and wooden stands and so on and so forth. So, so I've become more cognizant of, you know, how they stand up on their own. All right, so this one stands up better this way than it does this way. See how it kind of rocks back and forth? It's a little bit more stable this way. So I'm going to paint on this side. So if you've painted your rock and it's not dry yet, pause this recording and let it dry. You may want to do 2 rocks as well. So, you know, you could let one rock dry and work on the other one. That's okay. That works too. Okay, handout. Have your handout nearby because you're going to find that they're a good resource. So I'm going to, again, we have red and blue. If you need to make purple, you're going to use red and blue. If you have purple or violet paint, then you're all set. All right, you don't need to actually create it. So the other thing that we want to have is green. All right, now the green has to be a different green. Whatever green I use on here for my leaves has to be a different green than what's here on this rock, or else guess what? We're not going to see it. You won't see it. Okay, so we might want to add a little bit of yellow to our green to kind of spruce it up a little bit of white, whatever it might be. Okay, so, you know, it's totally okay if, in fact, your picture or your rock comes out a little bit different than my rock. As a matter of fact, it should, because you're a different person. You're a different person than me. Let me see. I don't know. Do I have violet out here? Violet. His Prussian blue, close. Let me see here. Violet, violet. Not seeing any violet. Oh, ha ha! Violet. Okay, again, if you do not have violet, no problemo. You may create violet. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to have our smallest detail brush at the ready. I'm trying to decide which one is smaller. These are pretty much the same. However, I am going to take some white paint, okay, and put it on my palette, all right, and I'm going to take some water, and I'm going to make a very light, watery kind of paint. And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm going to give myself some guidelines, okay? So, oops, I'm already messing up my rock here. It seems like some people are nice and neat all the time, and some of us are not. And those of us who are not shall remain nameless. Okay, so there we have it. I sort of fixed it. So now I'm, all right, never mind, we'll fix it later. So I'm thinking about this design. I'm looking here like this, and so I'm making a little oval here where this this yellow is going to go, and I'm also thinking about making ovals, right? Little ovals for my petals, and it doesn't have to be anything really, really awesome and wonderful and all that good stuff, because these are just guidelines. We might paint over them a zillion times before we find something that we really, really, really like. Okay, so just kind of guidelines that, yeah, this is where these are going. Okay, a little one over here. This is going over here. Flatten this. And that's it. That's it. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. So I'm going to rinse off my brush now. All right, and I'm going to start to create some of this background color. Okay, so, and when you're painting, usually, unless you're using watercolors, which are transparent, and these are water-based, but they're definitely acrylic, so we want to put the background in first. So I'm actually going to start with the leaves, okay? So I'm going to take, again, some of my green here and put it out on my palette. And you don't need lots and lots and lots. Okay, I already have some white out on my palette. Now I'm going to put a little bit of yellow out on my palette. Okay, then I'm going to take the same small brush I used to just make this little flurry of of petals here. Okay, so now here I have my palette, and I'm going to take some of this green. I'm going to add some of this yellow, and look, it's like magic, like magic. Da 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 da. Okay, and maybe that's too much. Maybe I want it more like this. Okay. Okay. So now I have plenty of paint on my brush, and I have my guidelines here. So I'm just going to make some lines that kind of come out here a little bit. Okay, a little bit of lines going on here. And so these are going to be these little guys over here. And I think I want another one coming out right here. Like so. Right here. I'm going to thin them out a little. Okay, so roll your brush around in the paint, and just like I said, kind of, and it doesn't matter if you don't get them really, really thin or not. Okay, and then bring some out here, like this. So we have one here, one there. Let's bring this one out to here, like so. And there's actually some big ones, some little ones. Let's do some of this. Okay, so now I'm just taking this brush and just leaning it right up against the rock. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting these little tiny leafy areas here. And all I'm really doing is just touching my stem over here. Just touching it. Okay. If you want to, you can drag the tips out a little bit if you would like to do that. You do not have to if you don't want to. You are the creator. Okay. So now look what I have. Very cool. Okay, now I might decide to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Just touching the rock. All right, and as I am doing that, okay, if I want to pull some of the, which I actually don't, I'm kind of liking it just the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit more here and actually do this other one right here. Okay, so I think, let's turn this around. So I actually have, okay, two of these here. All right, now I know that there's more space there, but for now, just leave it there, and it'll look better as we go along, because that's going to dry a little bit, and then we're going to put more paint over it. But we have another really, these are bigger leaves. So I'm actually going to take this green, add a little bit of white to it, okay, and I'm going to make bigger leaves. Okay, bigger ones here. Okay, and I can use a bigger brush. Okay, so let's make some bigger leaves here. Okay, and I'm just mixing a little bit of green and white, because I'm thinking let's make these bigger. Bigger and more just exciting kind of leaves here. Okay, so look at those. Nice leaves. Okay, and then we have some bigger, I'm going to go even whiter here, and around here we're going to put more leaves. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? I am just touching this rock. Okay, with this brush, and creating the most awesome leaves. Okay. All right, so we want to resist the urge to keep dabbing, because this is what kind of gives them their nice look. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit more here, and I'm going to put this brush in the water, and I am going to now do some leaf work up here. And again, I'm just laying the brush down on this rock. Another one right here. This and another one here. Okay, so here you go. Okay, I did this, I did this, and this. So look, I have leaves. There be leaves here. Okay. I wonder if you could see it better if the table underneath wasn't distracting you. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could put a little detail in these, but I'm going to say don't put too much, because they look awesome just as is, I have to say. Okay, so let's put in our purple. I am going to clean off my big brush. Okay, not the biggest brush. The biggest brush where we painted the rock is called a square head, or in this case a filbert, because it's kind of square and round. But I think most of you have the square heads at home, which is absolutely fine. And then we have some round-headed brushes, and in different sizes. So needless to say, the smaller ones we're going to do for the smallest detail, and the rounded ones we're going to use for the bigger detail. So these petals are on the larger side, so we're going to put some of those in. Now I'm looking at some of this whiter area back here and here, and those are definitely in the background. So let's put these brushes in the water for now, and actually pick up our Q-tips. Now Q-tip, I'm going to put it in the white, but then I'm going to take most of the paint off of it, because what I really want to do is just kind of paint on this baby's breath. Okay, so can you see this in here? Just painting on some baby's breath. And there's actually very little paint on the Q-tip. Okay, so we get a little bit of baby's breath in there. I'm going to do the same thing again and put some, I think, on top of here. Okay, little bit of baby's breath right there. Little dabs. Little dab will do us here and there. Okay. And I'm going to take a little bit more. I'm going to put some over here. Okay, under here. Just because it looks so very cool. Okay, if you get too much, you can clean it off a little bit. Okay, and I think some more over here will do the trick. Okay, so now we have a little bit of baby's breath here and there. And you can always add more, you can always take it off. This is a very fun thing to do. Creating these masterpieces they're a lot of fun. We have a great deal of fun doing these classes, and people are just like always totally happy, because up to this point they were kind of unaware. Yeah, I can create this really, and it's really not as hard as I think. Absolutely. Okay, so now let's go to our purple. So again, if you do not have purple, you're going to mix blue and red, and maybe I can show you how to do that. Okay, make sure all my green is off my brush. I have several bowls of water out here, some where the water is really dirty, some where it's kind of medium dirty, and one where the water is relatively clean. So I'm going from one to the other, just kind of cleaning them up. Okay, so some blue. Okay, if you have violet or purple, that's cool. If you do not, we are going to make some. All right, and the way that we do that is by mixing blue and red. So you always have your primary colors. Primary colors are colors that you cannot mix. You have to buy them already made. So those three colors are yellow, red, and blue. And from those colors, you can make any color you want. I have to tell you, it's a lot easier to just buy violet, all right? But even at that, you don't always end up with the violet that you want, okay? So now, let me come here and take some blue and take some red, all right? And I don't know if you can see that. It's already turning purple, okay? Purple, purple. Okay, see, there is my purple. And I can go like a really reddish purple. If I add white to that, I end up with a very light purple. Okay, if I add even more to it. Okay, so there's mixing your own colors brings its own kind of joy, because then you mix exactly the shade that you want. You are in control. Right, so this purple that I've just mixed, I actually am going to mix a little bit more so that I have enough, which is a very good point. If you're going to mix your own, make sure that you mix enough so that you have enough to finish a picture. Okay, so this, I'm putting quite a bit of white into it because the petals on this picture are relatively light. And I want to move this back over here, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing that I did before, and that is I'm going to put the brush this way so that the most pointed part is here, and I'm going to kind of draw this out a little bit. Okay, here, push, and then ease up. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more white because I kind of like that white in there. Right, so push, ease up, push, ease up. Okay, see what's happening here? We're getting petals, I tell you. Right, so now I'm thinking I need more white because I used all mine to make my lilac color. Okay, so here we go. I am going to, once again, I'm going to push, ease up as I pull in towards the flower, towards the middle of the flower, okay? And it doesn't matter if you go over the green. As a matter of fact, you kind of have to, all right? When you get to the front of the flower here, the petals are going to be a little bit shorter, okay? And the reason that they're shorter is because of the perspective. It looks like it's kind of growing out of the rock, okay? So we have kind of our basic here. So I'm going to take the white and just kind of go around my flowers just a little bit, and just one stroke, okay? Don't over blend them, okay? Let them be who they're meant to be. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit. All right, let them be who they want to be here. Okay, so now we have a flower kind of growing out of our rock here. Okay, so in the middle, we want to go a little bit darker with the purple. But I'm going to take this large round-headed brush and some paper towels, and I'm going to clean it off and put it in the water because I want to go with my smaller round-head brush, and I want to pick up some of the darker purple that I created here. Now, if you don't have darker purple created, take some time and create some, okay? So here's my darker purple right here. Okay, so I'm remixing blue and red and getting a darker purple. So now, again, looking at my handout, because we're always kind of using it for reference. See the dark around here? That's what absolutely gives this flower its depth, okay? So we want that darker. We want that dark in here. So it's going to come up here. It's going to be a little bit over here. So just around the middle of your flower, give us some darker, okay? So I'm actually going to clean this brush off and maybe pull a little bit here and there. Just a tad here and there. Okay. All right, let's do it. So a little bit darker, right in through here. We might pull a little bit up, a little bit this way, okay? But we want to keep the dark in the middle there, okay? So now this brush goes into the water, and I keep dropping, keep dropping my other palette. Okay, so let's put that other palette there. Keep dropping. All right, so now let's have a drink. And again, this paint dries rather quickly, all right? So even with it just sitting here like this, right, we can take let's take our larger round-headed brush. Okay, in this case, it's in my dirty water, and I'm brushing it off like this. Okay, then putting it in my clean water, and as soon as I did that, my clean water turned purple. So I know it's not as clean as I thought it was. Okay, so now I'm taking my yellow, okay, and just dabbing it in here. Dab your yellow in here because we want to center. Okay. Now this center wants to be oval shaped. Don't make it round, make it oval shaped. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of white and put it right around here. Whoops. So I'm going to get my white and just kind of dab it a little bit here and there. So this is this part of my flower is going to be kind of raised because I really put kind of a goopy lot of paint here. So even after it dries, it's going to be pretty raised. But I'm taking the white at this point and just kind of dabbing in there because I would like a little bit of highlight going on over here. Okay, that looks totally awesome already. Okay, so now we want to look at some of these that are kind of on top of the purple flowers. Okay, because we have our background flowers, which is kind of cool there, right? And I'm really liking that. Maybe, baby, I'm going to put a little line through there. And I'm using just the tip of the brush, okay? And again, not really a wrong way to do this, just giving just a few lines in through here to show maybe some vein work, okay? A little bit of vein work. So let's clean off this brush. And again, just the tip of the brush. Let's get in just a little bit of color in here. It gives us a variation of color and shade, which is very cool. And you know, the cool thing about this is it's really not a wrong way to do it. There really isn't. Okay, so in front here, again, this little baby's breath thing going on here. If I put this like little line going on here and then some little lines here, okay, and then just kind of dab them like little tiny circle thingies, again we get the idea of some baby's breath going on over here. See it? See it? See it? Okay. Same thing here. Okay, and again, same as with the other videos, if you feel that you're behind, okay, stop the video, put the TV on pause, okay, and take your time so that you're happy with your results, certainly, okay? So I'm just kind of making little white dots here to increase the impression of little baby's breath here and there. Just a very cool thing to do. Okay, and like I said, just the very, very, very tip of the brush here. Create some shape, create some line. Again, not a wrong way at all to do this. Very, very, this piece is very open to interpretation. Okay, just a slight bit. I'm giving it a little bit of a bluish shadow to it, only because I wanna. All right, I'm liking it. Okay. All right, so again, we don't want to play around too much with that because we end up ruining it. Okay, so now let us look at these little kind of bluish whitish flowers here. All right, and so right now I'm going to put my bigger brush to sleep for a while, and then I'm going to put that in the water and let it soak, and I have two more smaller brushes here that I can work with, and they're actually, I wanted to say one was a little bit bigger than the other, and this one is just slightly, so I think I'll put this one in the water and work with the one that is slightly bigger. Okay, now what's going to happen here is I am going to take my white, which I have another plate over here. I have lots of paint all over the place, actually. Okay, so I'm going to take this white here, and I'm going to add some blue to it. Okay, and I am going to end up with this. Okay, now those little tiny flowers that you see on the handout can be, they can be purple, okay, but I kind of like them blue. I like the different colors on them. So I'm actually going to make them pretty blue. Okay, so here's my blue, and the brush, I'm rolling the brush in the paint so that actually my brush is quite full of paint. All right, so now what I'm going to do is in the open places of my rock here, I'm actually just going to make little five petal little flowers. Okay, so see, there it is, 5 petal little flowers, and I'm going to make another one right here, and don't be afraid to overlap, it's quite all right. Okay, so the flowers underneath, all right, let me revise and say the flowers underneath maybe want to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to pick up some of the blue and go darker on the petals underneath. Okay, so here we go. So again, just touching. Here, here, and here. So we have these five petals, 5 petal flowers going on. Okay, I'm going to put, I think, another one here. Okay, and you can make them smaller, bigger. Okay, they can be whatever size you want them to be. Okay, so we have this going on. Now, while those darker blue flowers are drying, I'm going to put some more over here. And I do have white on my brush, and I'm dipping into the darker blue and making blue. Okay, just 5 petals, just 5 little petals here. Okay. Okay, let's do another one here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we can see how this is really starting to build here. Okay, so I'm actually going to try to not mess it up and put some more over here. Okay, maybe another one right here. Okay, so these blue flowers are on the darker side, even though I have white on my brush. See, nice, liking that one. I'm going to turn this around only because I have another bare spot here. God forbid I should have a bare spot, a spot that has no paint on it. Okay, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, again, I'm not worrying too much about the fact that I'm painting over some of the green leaves. That's okay. Okay, now I want to go another one here, here. Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay, so this only has 2 flowers. I think we need to have at least 3. So here's another one here. Okay, so the paint on this rock is, I'm putting my brush in the water. The paint on this rock is pretty thick, all right? So I do want to put some lighter blue flowers here and on here, and wherever I have the light blue flowers, I'd like to put some lighter blues on top of those blues, regardless of what I just said to you, which I know came out funny. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm going to take my really small detail brush, okay, and I'm going to again pick up a little bit of that purple, just kind of in nice and close here. Really see how if I add this little bit of dark down there, again we get the depth, which I think is totally awesome. All right, so again, let's go a little bit here, a little bit here. All right, we want to avoid an outlined look. A lot of times I see really beauteous pieces, but then people will take like black paint and just kind of outline the pieces, which always gives me the feel of like a coloring book type of a thing. So I want to kind of avoid that here. Okay. So we can kind of distinguish one petal from another with this darker purple in here, which is nice. Like I said, kind of avoid the outline type of look. Okay, giving a little bit of shadow here and there to give our petals a little bit more 3D is absolutely fine. And of course, in the end, whatever you want to do to them is fine, because it is your masterpiece. Okay, and as you can make them darker, you can actually also lighten them. If you have a part that's a little bit too dark, okay, you can add a little bit of light to them. So this is what I'm saying. You are the creator here, and whatever you want to do is absolutely what's going to happen. All right. So now, now that these blue flowers are a little bit drier, okay, I want to go over them with a lighter blue, or just place some flowers over them. Not all of them, just some of them with a lighter blue. I think before I do that, I don't know if you can see these little curlicues going on in here. Now I know a lot of people really shy away from curlicues, but I really like them. So I'm going to take some of my white and put it in my green like this, okay, like this. Then I'm going to put my brush in my water, and I'm going to make this really thin type of a paint. And then I am going to do this. Okay, I'm going to curlicue. I'm going to curlicue my rock. Okay. So there's a curlicue. Okay, and again, you know, just water down your paint enough that you can get a curlicue in there. You can curlicue anywhere your heart desires, and as much as your heart desires. Okay, Here's another little place where I can curly cue. Okay, so I have lots of little curly cues in here. If they make you happy, put them in. If they make you worry, do not. Okay, so little curly cues here and there make me happy. So I'm going to put little curly cues in. Alright, so what I want to do now with my stone, my rock, is again I'm going to take the small round one that I used to make my blue flowers, and I'm actually going to just dip into my white because some of my blue is actually still wet here. Alright, so I am going to do this. I am going to touch, okay, I'm going to clean off my brush, touch, and white. Okay, white and white. Okay, so see, we have kind of, because there's a lot of blue underneath here, we ended up with a kind of light blue flower in here, which is what we were hoping for. Okay, so I'm going to take this and do the same thing here. All right, now it doesn't, I don't want it exactly over my blue flower. I want that little blue flower to show underneath. Okay, so I'm not totally covering up my blue flowers. I'm adding another layer of flowers. Okay, see? So see, I'm getting these light bluish type of flowers on top of my dark blue flowers, and these flowers are pretty light already, so I am going to mix a little bit of blue in with those, and maybe even a little bit of purple, okay, because I want them to be different. I want them to be different than what's already there. Okay. And again, you're going to find that there's not really a wrong way to do this. This is total fun stuff. Total fun stuff. Okay, little tiny flower down here. Ta-da! Can you see that? And I'm trying not to pick it up too much, because I have a tendency to mess them up. Okay, so there's a little white flower over there. Okay, there can be a little white flower over here, even though there isn't a blue flower. We can still have a little white flower here if we want to. Okay, and I'm liking that so much, I'm going to put another one right here. And maybe a third one right here, because some people get carried away easy. We won't mention any names, but I'm liking that. Yay! Maybe even a little bit more white here, here. Okay, so again, have a good time. That is the most important thing you can do for yourself. Okay, we have a bunch of little blue flowers here. So I'm not going to totally cover the blue flowers because I want to be able to see them underneath, but I'm going to put little white flowers kind of offsetting them. Okay, again, don't cover them up. Don't cover up your blue flowers. We want to see them in the background, but we do want them in the background. So we're going to make these on top of them. Okay. This little guy's going to go here, and this one's going to go here. There we go. Right. So I'm going to have another nice little blue flower here. I'm going to put just the teensiest little white flower here because I love that little blue flower back there. And I don't want to cover it up. Okay, over here, a little bit more baby's breath. And that's done simply by stippling. Okay, and stippling is just little dots. Little dots. Okay. Have some more blue flowers here. And again, I'm really liking the blue flowers, so we want to make sure that we can see those blue flowers in the background. Okay, so we're making some foreground flowers that are kind of very light blue, but we're not obliterating the blue flowers that are back there. Nice! Okay, you can kind of see the blue through that. That one came out the best. Okay, let's do another best. Okay, right here. This one. Ta-da! Another best. I like it. I like it. Let's do this. This. Okay. All right. So this little guy in the front, not loving him so much. Okay, over here. So clean off your brush, dip in your white, and just re-dip them. Re-dip them. Don't rebrush them, re-dip him, okay? Re-dip. Voila! Now he looks awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so now this is a good opportunity now to take in the blue flowers, in the ones that you can still see the blue, you can put little white centers in them. Okay, and that looks really cool on them, to put in the little white centers on the ones that you can kind of see. Okay, here's one that I can see over here, and not too many more. After that, I just, this poor flower, try not to ruin your flowers. Okay. So now on the white flowers, I'm going to take the yellow and give them little yellow centers. Okay, really little, just a little dab, just a dab. See, that's all they need. They're almost perfect the way that they are. You just need little dabs. Okay, so take a look, and there's your little dabs are in there. And now, still using the very small brush, I am going to take my white, and a little bit of green in through here. And again, I kind of water it down just a little bit so that the paint is nice and thin. And here I can, once again, I can make some definitive lines in here if I want to. Let's do really small here. All right. Let's try just the tip. Right, so I'm actually looking for a smaller tip. And even though this is a good sized brush, it does have a very small pointy tip on it. Okay, so you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. this is just a little bit of vein work, okay? Just a little bit of veins going in through these, in through my leaves, which, again, you know, totally up to you. Okay, see this little bit of vein work here. Let's do some here, Joan. Ah, nice, nice. There we go. That's what she needed. There we go. And this little one right here, use just a little bit more definition through here. And this big one right here, it actually it covers quite a bit of the rock. All right, and I just want to define that. I'm going to use the point of this pen, brush. Okay. There we go. Okay, so just want to drag a little bit more color through this area, just a little. Okay. Let's get a little bit more color through here. All right, so this is looking mighty cool, I have to say. The other thing you might do, and there's no reason for it except that I want to, is just add little white dots here and there. For no other reason than I want to. Okay. After your work is done, like after this is dry, I would sign it. You know, sign your artwork. It makes a difference when you sign your artwork. And you don't, you know, you might think that, you know, it's not that important. But I'm telling you, your family, your friends, whoever ends up with this artwork, whoever you give it to, it will make a difference to them. They will absolutely make a difference to them. Okay, so here's our rock. I'm going to try, well, maybe I can pick it up. Okay, this is it, close up, right? And after it dries, I am going to put some sealer on it, okay, and then it's going to look like this, sort of, kind of, or it might look like this, depending on which way you hold it. This actually has some gold dots on it. Now, the gold is a metallic gold paint, all right? So if you want to add metallic gold dots to it, you most certainly can do that. The paint dries in the cap. I'm going to put just a little dab of this on my palette, and I am going to, once again, take the brush that has the best point on it, which in this case happens to be my big brush, right? So, and then what I did on my other piece is I just kind of dabbed on these little gold dots, okay? And again, they are just teensy little metallic gold dots, and they're kind of all clustered around in an area or two, so I'm kind of using them like additional baby's breath. Okay, just dotting along in certain areas here. Right, I might take the initiative and dot in through here, except that is That's way too thick. Joan, that is going to take a month of Sundays to dry. So let's avoid that for now. Okay? And let's put some over here. Here's some more baby's breath over here. So let's dab a little there. A little dab will do us. Okay? Maybe a little bit on these leaves. And my real goal with dabbing these little metallic gold areas on here is actually again, once you seal this, especially if you're using a sealer that is shiny, because all sealers, as far as I know, come in your choice of glossy or matte. All right, glossy is like this, where it's really, really shiny. And can you see how the metallic gold actually adds another layer to it? And it's very eye-catching. So when someone's looking at the piece and they're like, oh, you know, they get these little shiny little bits that catch their eye, and they're intrigued, and you see them kind of looking at it and moving it around a little bit. So it's really kind of cool when you see people taking that kind of interest in your work, where it is something that they're thinking about, and so on and so forth. So I am going to call this piece finished. All right, so let me show you once. I'm not sure I showed you at all in this video, but in some of the other ones, I've shown you that I use this Mod Podge. Plaid is the brand name, and it's called Mod Podge. And again, it comes in either glossy or a matte finish. I like the glossy because you can never quite have enough bling, so the glossy. So this is our handout, and this is our finished piece, which looks extremely cool. And it looks cool just the way it is. If you're like me and you want a little bit of bling, then put some shiny stuff on it. The shiny stuff not only brings out some of the colors a little bit more, like I said, when it comes to that metallic gold, it really kind of blings out the piece a little bit. Okay, so do prepare quite a few rocks, because you're going to want to keep doing this. You're not going to want to stop. All right, and I don't think you should. I think you should just totally keep going. Keep going. All right, and absolutely do your own thing. Add different colors to it. Make more than one whole flower there. Do a number of different things, because you can. All right. So I just wanna say, have an awesomely good day. Oh, don't sit down, because then you can't see me. Okay. So hopefully I'm getting better at actually doing these recordings, because I'd like to do a couple more, and I'm hoping that you'll follow along. Okay. This is my rock. I'm like so happy at it. All right. So I probably should stop touching it. All right. And that way I don't, that way I won't have a bunch of touch-up to do before I actually seal it. So with this one in particular, I'll let it dry, and then I will take a second look at it and see where my fingerprints are and where I smudged it, and then I'll kind of look at it and see where it needs a little bit more work, and then I'll do that, then I'll let it dry, and then I'll seal it, okay? Don't forget to sign your work. You should sign your work, okay? I will see you again soon, because I am planning on doing a couple of fun and paints here. And so get your canvases ready. Get your paints ready. Get yourself ready. Let's do it, baby. Okay? Have an awesomely good day. Joan Turner, JonesArtGallery.com, IntuitiveBodyAndSoul.com. You can send me, I will give you my email address. It is Jonissa, J-O-A-N as in Nancy, I, S as in Stephen, A at Comcast.net. So if you're having a difficult time finding these videos or connecting with them in any way whatsoever, just let me know. I'll hook you up. I'll connect you. I'll get you connected with the right people in the right places. All right? My telephone number, 978-807-7608. All right? So email, website, email address, telephone number. There's no reason why you should not be painting. Okay? So I wish you a very good day, and I will see you later. Good night, good day.